I'm Bert Brocker.
This is Rob Lynch here at TDE Stadium on the campus of the University of Houston. Bert, doesn't get any better than this one tonight.
No, it does not. We have the Pearland Oilers at 9-1, coming off of a tough loss last week. Rob, we were there. We called that game live. They actually scored a touchdown with 3:19 to go in the game. Went for the 2-point conversion. Unfortunately, did not convert that. Manville ran the clock out, and that's where the game ended. It's talking with Coach Heath as you did before the game and everybody else. They knew that game was going to be the game right now in the state of Texas. That game there put number 3 against number 4, depending on what rankings you're looking at. And Pearland dropped down right off the bat. They were down 21-10, then 28-10, and then at that point in time, Coach Heath and his crew actually made some changes. And, when you let the first 4 possession of your opponents against a top-ranked team go down the field and score a touchdown, you dug yourself a pretty deep hole, and he still managed.
Yeah, and just being able to come back like they did was so impressive. And to watch their quarterback, Jake Blumbrick, bring them back. What a player he is. We were talking to Coach Heath before the game, and I asked him, I said, Coach, is this a misprint? There's 1 interception out of 195 attempts, and he's thrown 1 interception all year, so he definitely takes care of the ball.
Well, and that's it. 19 touchdowns, as you said, almost 2,000 yards, 65% completion ratio, 127 completions on 195 attempts. And, and they lost Jacoby Butler, which was their workhorse earlier in the year. And as you said, you went down here and checked it out. This kid is a sophomore. Last week, 32 carries, 161 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And, sophomore. Let me re-say that again, sophomore.
Xavier Pinkston, and that's another guy we got a chance to visit with Coach Heath about down there. And he's also a track guy, and he can fly. Just a sophomore, and he's got the jets, and he could be the difference in the game tonight, his speed on the corner.
Yeah, and again, Rob, like I said, DeerPark crossed the way. We've known Coach Massey a long time. Comes in here 8-2. Same thing. I mean, really solid record. These two guys have met a whole bunch of times throughout their careers.
4 times, and we were talking down there earlier. 4 times in the last 4 years they've met in the playoffs. They just need to get on each other's schedule if they want to play that bad. But they have such respect for each other, and we have such respect for those guys. Just listening to them talk down there, they respect each other. They know what good coaches each one of them are. They both come from good pedigrees. They've all worked for good coaches. Coach Massey was the first 12th man kickoff team coach at Texas A&M. So they've been around, and they're both just really good coaches and well prepared.
And I was talking to some of the assistants last week up there in Pearland, and you hear them talk about what Tony Heath. You talk to David Primazon, Big Star Ford up there, and you hear what he's done in that community up there, and it's just unreal, Rob. I mean, he literally went in there in a program that didn't have hardly any wins at all, and he has turned that program completely around. 2010 state champions, and we got to hear a little bit of excitement about how cool that was. And then you also have, last year making it all the way to the state championship and losing that game against Allen, which we all know the powerhouse that team is. So
yeah, it was interesting to listen to him talk about going. And last year I think they were surprised as anybody that they went that far, and it just credit to what a Coach Heath is. And I think the interesting thing about what they do is they do have some tremendous players and some blue chip type kids on their team, but they get so much out of the kids that won't play again, that just go on and they go to college and do something else, and they don't play football, and they just got such mileage out of those guys.
Well, Rob, as we said, we're only a handful of minutes away here from kickoff. It is going to be a heck of a ball game here tonight. The great news is we got the green light from Fox Sports Southwest. We're actually calling this game live. We're not having to delay it, which typically on Friday nights in the state of Texas you do. This game will be called live, play-by-play in its entirety, and then after the game we'll come in and get an opportunity to talk about what we've seen, what transpired, and the way that the game laid out. So really looking forward to a solid ball game here, Rob. And with that said, you got anything else to?
Don't tell me this is football weather, Coach Brocker. This ain't football weather. This is cold.
Yeah. When I was walking in, I'm like, holy cow, are we back in Nebraska? This is not exactly, what you're looking for. But, hey, when we were down there on that field, it's cold to us. Trust me, these kids out there tonight, last thing they're thinking about is worrying about this temperature.
No, they're excited, and we'll be back shortly, and we'll join the game live in just a few minutes. And the game tonight will be brought to you by Big Star Ford right there in Pearland, Texas.